Four turnovers, overtime, a fumble return for a touchdown. This is just the latest edition of ugly, chaotic, nail-biting wins for this team. The Jacksonville Jaguars never ever want to do anything simple or easy. Last week we had a smooth win against the Chargers, but the Jags apparently just said nope, we're back to the heart attack games. But guess what? At the end of the day, we are 7-4, and like Liam Cohen said, we're not going to apologise for winning. What's going on, everyone? This is Jag Central, and I hope you're all doing well. The Jacksonville Jaguars are back at it again. The Jags went all the way to Arizona and survived a wild one against the Arizona Cardinals, winning 27-24 in overtime. That's our second overtime game of the season, and that's 3-0 for the Jags on the West Coast. So it's pretty fat. That is really, really, really good. So in fact, most of that game I felt like was a disaster. Like the first drive, amazing. We got first drive and scored, but then Trevor Lawrence goes, you know what? I'm just going to throw a touchdown in near our own end zone, and they score. And then, to be honest, I don't know. That was a fumble. Yeah, that was a fumble. He fumbles it. Essentially, it was kind of a interception anyway, because I felt like his hand was going forward anyway. But he throws a pick six. Essentially, they score. He also throws his. I feel like he does this like once every few games, where he throws a interception in the other team's end zone, and yeah, it always happens somehow. But at the end of the day, like, the NFL does not care about any style points. All they care about is winning, and that's it. Wins and losses, that's all that matter. And that's what we did going into Arizona. We moved up to the 6th seed in the AFC, and now we are breathing down the necks of the Colts. So let's break down the madness with my 3 biggest takeaways. So if you're new to the channel, I always do my 3 biggest takeaways. Essentially, I look at what is the biggest takeaway from the game, or I look at what's the biggest takeaway going forward, or what's the biggest takeaway from something we've been seeing over the past season. So first takeaway is the defense. They didn't just play well, they bailed out the offense so many times, and they saved the season. Because for me, losing this game against the Cardinals would have been a big loss, especially with the Texans. The way they are playing with David Mills, their defense is on it, and essentially their defense is carrying them. And the Jags defense right now has literally turned up against the Cardinals and literally won us that game. We've been begging for sacks all year, and we ask and you receive. The defense finished with 6 sacks, 40 pressures on the day, and they were literally swarming, and it was a very dominant performance against I feel like a quarterback who's really good at getting the ball out and is somewhat mobile as well. So it was a team effort from the team, and Devin Lloyd, great game from him. He even had a hit close to out of bounds on Brissett when he was going for a run, which I liked as well, because I don't really like quarterbacks that like to tiptoe around the edge and expect not to be hit. He had 1.5 sacks, and Josh Allen as well got home for a sack in overtime as well, which was a key sack at the end. But for me, the most impressive part of this defense is basically the resilience. They were so resilient. The offense put them in terrible positions all day. They faced short fields of interceptions and turnovers, yet the defense just gave up 1 touchdown off those 4 turnovers, since the fumble was a defensive score for Arizona. And to be put in bad spots repeatedly and hold firm, that is championship level football. I am really proud of the defense, and they literally bailed us out. And I know we've been talking about the defense at the middle of the season, especially against the Texans, where they were basically gave up 19, I think, was it 19 points, 23 points, whatever it was in the 4th quarter, and we got onto them. But at the same time, like I said in my game review after the Texans, is that the offense had put the defense in bad positions with a lot of free and outs. But you have to give where credit is due to the defense. My second takeaway is that we got the full Trevor Lawrence chaotic experience today, and let's be real, you cannot be turning over the ball 4 times and expect to win games in January. So actually, he's done that before, right, against the Chargers, and we won. But you shouldn't be looking to do that on a regular basis. But he had 3 interceptions, a lost fumble that went for 6 points, and 3 of those turnovers happened when we had the lead. So one thing about Trevor Lawrence, I'm not sure if he's been seeing this on Twitter, is that Trevor Lawrence only throws interception when he's in the lead, which is crazy to think, because he's essentially allowing teams to come back into the game. But at the end of the day, is that you have to give Trevor Lawrence credit where credit is due. He put us in that situation and he took us out. I know a lot of people are going to be looking at this and saying like he shouldn't. It was his fault anyway. But at the end of the day, he turned up when it mattered, especially in the fourth quarter and overtime, and he delivered. And the other thing is that a lot of quarterbacks would have folded, they would have stopped throwing the ball, but he didn't care. He kept on throwing, and essentially won us the game at the end. He threw 3 touchdowns. He reconnected with Brenton Strange as well, who had a monster day with 93 yards, which is crazy because at the beginning of the season when Brenton Strange was here, he was his safety blanket, and you can definitely see that Trevor Lawrence really favours his tight ends, especially when we had Evan Ingram, and whenever Evan Ingram was out injured, Trevor Lawrence kind of looked lost out there. Parker Washington as well, that relationship and that chemistry between him and Trevor Lawrence is getting better and better game by game, and Parker Washington, man, he's amazing. And Trevor Lawrence also led the go-ahead drive in the fourth quarter with a perfect strike, and for me, it's kind of frustrating because you look at the fourth quarter and the overtime and it looks like, damn, this guy is a top 5 quarterback. The throws he makes, and then he follows it up with rookie mistakes like throwing those interceptions. I know some of them were like great plays from Budda Baker, and also one of them was tipped, but at the end of the day, like, Trevor Lawrence does make these mistakes and we just have to be honest about it. But his mental toughness, for me, to flush out those errors and lead a game-winning drive in overtime is literally a trait you can't teach, because we've seen it in the playoffs against the Chargers. He threw multiple interceptions and he still had the wherewithal to basically say, you know what, we're coming back, this game isn't over. My third and most important takeaway, the AFC South race is officially on. While we were worrying about overtime and whatnot, the Colts had just lost to Kansas City in overtime as well. And for me, that result had changed the entire season, because now we're 7-4, the Colts are 8-3, and we're 1 game behind them, and we haven't played them yet. We played them twice, so we have a chance to beat them twice, and essentially it's in our hands right now if we want to win the AFC South and have a playoff game at home in Duval County. So, and we also moved up to 6th seed as well, with the Texans beating the Buffalo Bills. So now we're literally fighting for a wildcard spot. If we don't get that, we'll fight for the AFC South spot, but if we don't get that, we can kind of go for the wildcard spot. But at the end of the day, this is wide open, and we can't just stop and shoot ourselves in the foot, which is why I think this game against the Chargers, against the Cardinals, was such a big game, because if you look at it, had we lost that game, we would be same wins as the Texans. The Texans still have to play the Colts as well, so they could win the AFC South. So there was just too many things that were at play. The Chiefs have just won as well. I know we got the tiebreaker over them, the Chargers as well, but we've been in a situation where we've been 8-3 and we've missed out completely on the playoffs, where we were number 1 in the AFC South. And there's another team that is 8-3 right now, top of the AFC South, or top of the AFC, and is also could fall out of the playoffs as well. So this is not something that we can kind of take for granted. So let's just quickly do a quick game summary. First quarter, like I said, we started hot. Brenton Strange, welcome back. Huge 30-yard catch immediately. Travis Etienne literally exploded for a 45-yard run and a touchdown catch. 7-0 Jags. The offense stalled there. Trevor got sacked, fumbled. Arizona got that return for a touchdown, and we went down into the half 14-10. At this moment, I'm not really too worried. Then Trevor throws a pick, but then we bounce back, lead a great drive, and Jacoby Myers touchdown, amazing touchdown, and that chemistry as well between Jacoby Myers and Trevor Lawrence as well. So at the moment, Trevor Lawrence is getting his tight end back, he's getting Jacoby Myers, and hopefully Brian Thomas Jr. is going to come back soon as well. So the Jags could be peaking at the right moment. And in the fourth quarter, this is where the chaos started. Trevor throws another pick, the Cards score to take the lead. Trevor responds with a very clutch touchdown. Parker Washington makes it 24-21. What a throw! What a catch by Parker Washington! And then now it's like a minute, 2 minutes left or something, and the Cardinals, terrible clock management. They managed to get to the 10-yard line. They have over 20 seconds left, and they literally, Marvin Williams goes to celebrate, loses the ball, and isn't running back. They don't clock it. At this moment, I was thinking, damn, they're going to have 2 chances at the end zone to win the game, but they had to rush it. They didn't get the touchdown, and they had to settle for a field goal. We got the ball first in overtime. Cam Little drills a clutch 52-yard field goal, and he literally made it look so easy, which was amazing. and it seemed like he's back now since the beginning of the season, where he missed a few at the beginning of the season. The defense got one final stop on fourth down, and we escaped with the win. So we survived. We're 7-4. We got the Titans next week in Tennessee, so that's another game which could be a game where we could lose, but we need to win. So this is going to be another test of maturity. We can't play down to this competition like we did against the Cardinals. To be honest, the Cardinals were actually a good team. They've lost a lot of close games, so that they were a team that isn't 2-8 or 2-8 team. They've lost a lot of close games, so we were really lucky to kind of go in there and get out the win. But also, it was really good to show that we can go in and win a game as well. That's my breakdown. And what's your confidence level with this team right now? Are we contenders? Do you think we're lucky? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe.